Hello, my name is Earl Mills. I'm the son of a sharecropper, a illiterate sharecropper. I graduated high school in 1971. My wife Marie and I raised 5 children, held the same job for 25 years while successfully hiding the fact that I could barely read beyond a second grade level. Today I would like to share my journey to literacy with you, from a little 3rd grade boy sitting quietly in the back of the classroom, heartbeat pounding the rhythm of fear that his name he might hear, read that which he cannot do, to the warm summer day when I opened the door at Craven Literacy Council and heard the words, "May I help you?" To the 2nd row in ACA 111 at Craven Community College, raising my hands and answering questions, to reading approximately 100 books like To Kill a Mockingbird and Anne Frank's Diary, and writing over 90 poems, and all of the shame, fear, pain, and joy to the person you see standing before you today. By the 3rd grade, I knew I should have been able to read. Most of my classmates could. My 3rd grade teacher kept me back. Then a couple of special ed classes in the 4th and 5th grade that I can't remember learning anything in. Then I went into hiding, building my defense mechanisms. I couldn't let anyone know that I couldn't read. I sat in the back of the class and kept quiet. I was good in things like math and brick mason. I was passed along from grade to grade. I graduated high school and could not read. I tried to get help in the late 80s and early 90s, but it wasn't what I needed. I needed one-on-one tutoring. I joined a local church in New Bern, Dayspring Ministries, in 1997 and was going through a 14-week discipleship class. Pastor P.O. Rogers was teaching the class with about 8 or 10 people in the class. I would always pretend that I couldn't find the scripture. This particular night, the class was running behind, so Pastor said, "You get this scripture, you get this scripture, you get this scripture." Fear gripped my heart. My wife sitting beside me, trying to whisper the words in my ear. I stumbled through it. There was a young lady in church that knew about Craven Literacy Council. I gave them a call, and at the age of 45, I was assessed at a 2nd grade reading level. I had trouble spelling words like girl and bird. I was matched up with a tutor, Mr. Will Dowles. We worked 1 hour a week. We worked for like 2.5 years. He wanted to leave to be closer to his grandchildren. I didn't tell anyone, but I had purpose in my heart that this was not working. I was assigned a 2nd tutor, Mr. Alfred Seamster. We worked. One night he handed me a book entitled Along the Gold Rush Trail, about a 112-page book. He said, "Read this book for our next class." He could tell I was hesitant, so he said, "Try to read half of it." I took the book home that Thursday night in my recliner. I opened the book and I read the first word, the first paragraph, the first page. All of that hard work, all of those phonics began to click. That Saturday morning at work, I read my first book. I was 48 years old. At first I said it felt like someone had given me $1 million. Now that I think about it, if someone offered me $1 million, but said, "When I give you the $1 million, you would have to go back to the way that you used to read and would never be able to learn to read again," I would turn it down. You say that might be crazy, but you have to know that the shame that's associated with not being able to read. If you had asked that little 3rd grade boy whose teacher kept him back because he couldn't read, if he thought that he would teach the discipleship class that he was called on to read a scripture in, the teenager who graduated from high school and could not read would make an A in ACA 111 at Craven Community College. The young man who held the same job for 25 years, that he would read approximately 100 books. The middle-aged man who successfully hid his secret all those years, that he would write over 90 poems or be assessed 4 years ago at the 9th or 10th grade reading level, or one day publish 2 books of poetry and own his own business, and share the stage with former First Lady Mrs. Barbara Bush and receive a personal letter from Mrs. Bush. He would have said no. In his wildest dreams, he could not have seen the person standing before you today. And I stand here today only because of the support of so many people in my life. If all the words of encouragement had been words of discouragement, I wouldn't be standing here now. Like my wife, Marie, who has never belittled me because of my inability to read. I would like to share a few of my poems with you. My first poem, Diploma in Hand. I graduated high school, diploma in hand. Why I received it, I don't understand. With mixed emotions, I held it high, knowing within that it was a lie. The words that were written to me were Greek. Nevertheless, a job I must seek. Busy with life as years go by, tears in my heart, I wanted to cry. Now married, the children came, having to raise them, who's to blame? Reached out for help, at first I failed, disheartened inside, who can I tell? Somehow within a planted seed, a call for help, I've learned to read. Diploma in hand, I lift it high, no tears in my heart, no longer do I cry. The second poem that I would like to read for you is The Poet Who Could Not Read. He wrote a line that only he could understand, like the words from a 5-year-old, not from a man. The thoughts and ideas that filled his mind became broken English as he scribbled line upon line. How can someone who can't read or write be given the gift to put the English language to flight? As he captured the beauty of the life of the heart, life, and soul, as his illiterate pen made them unfold, knowing that his befuddled words would soon find rest, like the journey to the top of a mountain's crest. The next poem is, my name is Illiterate. When I first started to write this, it was, you don't think you know me. Most people don't think they know someone that's illiterate, but the person that is illiterate is your coworker, your next door neighbor, and the person that just passed you in the street, and the person sitting beside you in the church pew. My name is Illiterate. I'm red, yellow, black, and white, from every nation and tongue, old, middle-aged, and young. I have no boundaries, generational nor race. My father could not read, and now I take his place. You look for me in all the wrong places, for I'm closer than you think, sitting in the church pew, pretending to read just like you, hidden in plain sight, woven into the fabrics of society because of my one ignorance. Masquerading as literate has become my game because of the shame of my real name. Avoiding situations in fear of hearing these words, read that which I cannot do. Keeps me from coming to you. Normally it takes a tragedy for me to break through. The thought that illiteracy imparts in your mind desperately needs to be refined. I've tried to paint a picture on the canvas of your mind to help you understand this illiterate life of mine. I have published 2 books. One, my first book in July of 2011, entitled From Illiterate to Poet, and a second book, September 2012, From Illiterate to Author. Both books are available on Amazon.com, and my first book is available ebook on Amazon for your Kindle. Thank you for your time.